Hey guys, welcome to Chefolution. I'm your host, Chef NCP. Thank you very much for purchasing your recipe boxes today. Today, I'm going to be showing you through the Ratatouille with sautéed new potatoes, asparagus and Mangetout. I'm just going to quickly explain to you how this video is going to work. First of all, we're going to start off by prepping the veg step by step, having all that ready, followed by the cooking. Let's get started. So guys, I've got my oven preheated to 200 degrees. I'm going to start off with the red pepper because that's going straight in the oven. First I'm going to start just pulling that little bit off and simply forging a cross section. This is simply going to make it a lot easier to peel the skin. So it's going to go in the oven for about 15 minutes, checking all the time until nicely charred. Simply in here I've got my vegetable oil. Don't worry about a bit of salt right now. Just need the oil on a baking tray with parchment paper. Et voila. And that's going to go straight in the oven while we prep the rest of the ingredients. So just a reminder guys, that's 200 degrees. Next we're going to work on our mirepoix. Mirepoix is basically the base of any sauce, soup, you name it, it's in there. I'm going to start by prepping the onion. Remember, this sauce is all going to be blitzed, so don't worry too much about your chef's skills or your knife skills. Just simply peel away the edges. As little prep as little waste as possible. So I'm pretty happy with that. I would go a little bit further, but it seems like I've got a solid white onion now. This recipe I'm doing today is just a half portion for cost effectiveness. Again, don't worry too much, you can roughly chop this. The idea for me is I want to try and cook this as fast as possible, so I'm trying to cut everything as thin as possible. That reduces the cooking time. Again guys, make sure you're reading your recipe constantly, double checking. Break my heart if you guys weren't happy with the final result. So the carrot, I'm just going to simply peel that. All these scraps and things, by the way guys, if you feel free to hold on to it, make yourself a nice stock, etc, etc, but I'm sure you've heard that 1,000 times. So obviously onions are going to be quite small. So I've cut the carrot in half and simply finely slicing the carrots. Guys, you don't need knife skills like a ninja or anything like that. Just as long as everything's roughly the same size, you're on for a winner. The celery, we're just going to trim the dry end and the bottom end, and we're just going to again roughly chop this up as small as possible. And that, without the mess, is your box standard mirepoix. This mirepoix is going to have garlic, because we all love garlic. See, garlic cooks a lot faster, so you would typically put this in after the mirepoix has sweat down. For me, I'm quite happy with the garlic to be in there with everything else, so long as you're not chopping it into tiny, tiny pieces. I'm putting 1 clove of garlic into my mirepoix, and the other half I'm going to chop a bit smaller. The other half a portion I'm going to chop a little bit smaller, just for the sautéing of the new potatoes, asparagus, and Mangetout. Just put that to one side, guys. Your mirepoix should now be ready. New potatoes, we're going to boil those whole and prep them after they're cooked. Mangetout, we're going to simply slice these. You'll see the little bubbly section here. That's where all the good stuff is. Just simply slice just off center, so you've still got the pea inside and you don't have half peas falling out like this bit here. And so you've got like a nice fleshy bit of the Mangetout, and you've got the peas still inside, slightly revealed for flavour. So guys, we're on to the asparagus. So with these, I'm just going to use the knife to line up and slice like this, removing these darker woody bits. Asparagus is a beautiful veg, it's perfectly in season around this time of year, mainly spring and early summer. Just chop away these woody bits. They can be a little bit tough and not particularly pleasant, effectively not being very important for the dish. So with your asparagus left how it is now, just slice these in half for this recipe, and they're going to be mixed in with the sautéing. They're going to boil for 3 minutes together. We've got our herbs here. I'm going to chop up 2 leaves. This is a half portion, guys. What I've done here is I've taken half the portion of basil and I'm rolling it into a cigar shape to chiffonade, which is effectively just a nice easy way to get even slices throughout your leaves. Make sure you've got a really sharp knife, guys, because if you haven't, you're going to have lots of bruises and ugly garnish. This is basically just going to top the dish. This is just going to sit nice, fresh, fragrant basil. This is going to be perfect. These thyme sprigs, they're relatively soft this time of year, so normally I would suggest that you pour the leaves off if the stems are too stiff. But I'm going to just throw these in and into the sauce and blitz them together once it's ready. Again, 1 bay leaf. I'll put this in once the sauce is cooked. Leave to simmer for about 20 minutes and then remove the bay leaf, because we all know bay leaf's quite stiff. If that gets blitzed up in there, you're just going to have little pieces of bay leaf in your teeth. So again, with the tomato, I'm just going to forge across That's going to make, the hot water is going to pour on top of this skin, and it's going to allow the skin to come away from the flesh. So we can easily peel the flesh, the skin from the flesh. Again, for the same reasons, we don't want that skin in the sauce. Sorry for the noise, guys. While I'm waiting for that to boil, I'm going to get on with the courgette and the aubergine courgette. Let's just take the top off. Don't worry about peeling this, guys. I know it's quite a bitter veg, the aubergine. It's not everyone's favourite, but I love it. It's especially great with a roasted, with a splash of lemon, a little bit of salt and pepper, and scooped out onto a bit of toast. Perfect, lovely. Again, this is a half portion, so I'm just going to take half. Nice, not as sharp as I want it to be. I'm going to take half, and I'm going to cut this into cubes. I hope you can see this properly, guys. It's my first video, so that's my dog barking in the background. I don't know if you can hear that. You know, this is a home kitchen, bound to happen. If you know it's not quite too sharp, just use nice long strides and let the knife do the work. I need to keep these separate, guys, so I'm going to take my Mangetout and asparagus off to one side. And now we've got a nice cubed aubergine. Same again with the courgette. I'm just doing half portions, guys, so again, I'm going to take half for later. I'll probably put it with a pasta dish or something like that for tea. So it's a little bit smaller. If you're not confident with doing it this way, I can always advise bringing it quite close to the board per se. Keep your fingers nice and out of the way and just slice halfway through the aubergine. So I'm using, this is your guide hand, this is your knife hand. Just using the knife to line everything up. Don't have to be perfect, guys. Just everything, make sure everything's nice and the same size. My kettle's boiled. I'm just going to pour over boiling hot water, releasing those skins. Hopefully I've poured enough boiling water in there to fully submerge, which I haven't, but that's not a big problem. Just give them a little roll and leave them in there for about 5 minutes. Nice and easy. So guys, that's the end of the prep. So guys, my pepper's been in the oven for about 15 minutes now. 15-20 minutes, and that's what you're looking for. I'm gonna let it cool down. It's really, really hot. So, and then we can peel and remove the core. And I'll show you exactly how that's done in a minute. Turn the oven down to 160 degrees because that's the temperature we're gonna start roasting the ratatouille. My kitchen's electric, so I hope high heat, medium high heat, and things like that work for you best. I'm gonna start by getting the pan hot, start on a high heat. I'm going to go in with my oil. And straight in with my onion, with my mirepoix. I've got a utensil like this. This is a Maurice. If you don't have a Maurice, just use a wooden spoon, it's fine. Just give that a little stir around. The perfect thing about a Maurice is that it gets right in the corners, preventing any catching. Just going to season with a little bit of salt. That's going to help with the cooking process. Help reduce the water content in the mirepoix. And I'm just going to stir that around on a high heat until it sweats, and turn the temperature down to about medium high. Also guys, I've boiled my kettle. I'm going to start cooking my new potatoes, filling halfway. I'm going to turn that on the super high heat and bring that to a rolling boil. Always season your water with a big pinch of salt. So things like pasta, potatoes, carbs, really brings the starch out. That's cooking away quite nicely in there now. Got a mirepoix there. Once that's up to a rolling boil, I'll show you exactly what I mean. It'll be on a consistent, rapid rolling boil. Once it's up to that temperature, I'm going to throw my potatoes in and cook them for about 20 minutes. I'm going to turn the temperature down to about a medium heat on my mirepoix. So here's our tomatoes here, guys. They've been submerged in boiling water for about 5-6 minutes, and as you can see, the skin's burst, and it's really easy to just peel that away. First of all, I'm just going to, on your peeler, I don't know if you ever noticed this before, but what this is perfect for is for taking the eyes out of potatoes. And one thing I like to do is just core tomatoes with them. Guys, make sure you're keeping an eye on your mirepoix. I can already see at the bottom of my pan I've got a little bit of residue. Don't be afraid to add a little bit of water just to deglaze that pan. Just a little touch of water, and then you clean the pan and you've got no bitter burning, you know. This is lovely and sweat down. Sorry about my Bristol accent, you know, local. So I'm going to continue with the tomato, just peeling away the skin. I'm quite happy with this mirepoix at the moment. I'm just going to take that off the heat, and that's ready for the next step. Don't ever be afraid to take it off the heat. Don't panic, be cool. I'm quite happy with that one. Repeat the procedure. My water is now on a rapid rolling boil. I'm going to go in with my potatoes. Cook them for about 15-20 minutes. I'm not happy with my tomatoes, guys, so when I said 5 minutes submerged in boiling water, let's go for 6 minutes. Let's go for 10 minutes. 10 minutes. That should come off with ease. Failing that, if you want more confidence, just bring your water up to a boil in a pan. Throw them in there for about 30 to 40 seconds on a rolling boil. I'm just going to break these up straight in there, juice and all. Just give those a stir. they're cooking away nicely. We're going to go back on the heat. Like I said, in with a bit of salt. That's going to help the water content reduce and also season the dish. 2 birds, 1 stone. Let's go back to our red peppers. Yeah, lovely. Coming straight off. Perfect. So yeah, just remove all that charred skin. Should be relatively easy. Just rub away any of those excess seeds. This is a bit hot, so you might want to leave it for a few more minutes. There we are. Just rub away any seeds. Don't worry too much if a few go in there. Don't worry too much, you know. Straight in. Just peel away that core. Straight into the pan. There you are, guys. Just kind of cook that around. Got quite a bit of liquid in there now. Not too much of a problem because I don't want it to be extremely thick. Add a little bit of salt to help the peppers cook through. I'm going to get my frying pan ready. I want just a nice bit of oil. That's going to expand, almost double in size. So now's the perfect time to go in with my herbs. I've got fresh basil and thyme. Save the bay leaf for after you've blitzed the sauce. Guys, the smells are amazing now that those aromats are in there. And lovely fragrant spring. You can smell the pepper, smell the tomato, the mirepoix. It's going to be a beautiful sauce. All those juices have come out of everything. I might not even need to add water to this recipe. See? Just going to turn the temperature down a little bit. I'm on a high heat. I'm going to go back down to medium. If any of those juices do reduce, don't worry, all the flavour's in there. You can add a little bit more water and that'll just loosen up the sauce, allowing the cooked aubergine and courgettes to submerge into the casserole dish. If you haven't already, guys, make sure you turn your oven down. I'm quite happy with that. I'm going to go ahead and blitz this. You can use a jug blender. Just pour it into the jug. I'm going to add a little bit of water just to loosen. Don't worry about the dilution because obviously once it's blitzed, I'm going to put it back on the heat. Okay, guys. So what I've done is I've blitzed the sauce. It's ready to go. It's going to go straight back into the pan. Have a little taste. I'd say that's perfect with the salt. It's perfect. Potatoes are fully cooked now, so I've just removed those from the pot. Put this back on the heat. I'm just going to bring this up to a gentle simmer for 20 minutes. And in with my bay leaf. That's just going to simmer there in the background and infuse with the bay leaf. Moving on now to the aubergine and the courgette. What I'm effectively going to do is just get this oil nice and hot. Get the aubergines into the hot oil, season with a bit of salt. Strain the oil off, being sure to keep hold of the oil to reuse. All that oil's got the aubergine flavour in it. And repeat the process with the courgettes, and that's just going to rest into the sauce. I'm going to mix them together, place them into the sauce, and let them just gently submerge. A good way to see if your oil's hot, just take a little drop of water and stick it in there. If it makes that noise, you're good to go. In with my aubergines. Pinch of salt. If it gets too hot, just go in with a little bit more oil. Aubergines are quite forgiving. Just get a nice colour on them. If you're not very good with the old tossing of the pan, just use a spoon, wooden spoon. Try not to use metal on your non-stick. Go back in with a little bit more oil. And they should brown quite nicely. Just going to start getting ready to show you guys how to make the bechamel sauce. So I'm going in the pot with butter, and I'm going to let that melt. You can really smell the aubergines coming out now. See the lovely colours coming through. I'm actually quite happy with this sauce as it stands. It's had enough time to infuse that bay leaf. Just remove the bay leaf and discard. That sauce is now extremely aromatic. Nice and sweet red peppers, thanks to the roasting. I'm right-handed, would be able to show you this perfectly. Just want to fill my casserole dish about halfway. See, aubergines are a little bit like sponges. They absorb that oil. Once that oil is in there, it then starts falling out. And we're going to reserve that oil and repeat the process for the courgettes. You can see this colour here is thanks to the salt. The salt brings out that moisture on every surface it touches.
Beautiful.
So I've just got a bowl here to hold to catch my oil, and a sieve. Back onto high heat, just strain those off, get them nice and dry. leave to one side. That residual oil infused with aubergine will add to the flavour of the courgette. So this is back on a high heat. I'm going to repeat the process for the courgette. Mix it together and just layer that into the sauce. Courgette in. Nice pinch of salt. Looking for a similar colour on the courgette. These are our aubergines. The reason why I'm doing them separately is because they have different cooking times. Courgettes take a little bit longer to cook. So as you can see, my butter's melted in there. I'm going to start with my bechamel sauce. We've got equal parts butter to flour. That makes a perfect roux. Just go straight in with it, don't mess around. I'm just going to stir that around until it forms a pasty texture. Maybe a little bit thicker than a pasty texture. Turn my heat down because I don't want my flour to burn. I just want a gradual heat just to cook out the flour. As you can see, we've got what I consider perfect roux. It's almost like Play-Doh. From here I'm just going to go in with my English mustard. Just a tad. English mustard is quite strong, so once it's mixed with that cream, you'll just have this subtle hum of English mustard. Just incorporating that fully and loosening the roux. When you're making your bechamel, it's quite important to make sure you're bringing in everything from the corners. That's why a Maurice comes in handy, because it just does a better job than a wooden spoon. I'm quite happy with that. Just going to go in with a splash of milk, keeping the Maurice at the ready if need be. I'm just going to whisk that together. If you do it bit by bit, you get a much smoother bechamel sauce. If you go straight in with all your milk, that roux is going to take a long time to work together and incorporate into that milk. Typically what I do is 1 part butter to 1 part flour to 4 parts milk. It's starting to look almost like the final result. But if you were to go on with this now, you'd have a very floury, claggy bechamel sauce. Courgettes are done. I'm just going to cook out that flour for about 10 seconds. I don't want to burn the flour. I want to, just keep stirring, keeping an eye on it. help cook up that flour a little bit. Take it off the heat, don't let it burn, don't let it catch. There we are, at the ready. I'm going to go in with a bit more milk. I can see that the flour is starting to cook off. I'm going to go in with a little bit more milk than I did last time. And incorporate that roux together again. Creating a nice smooth bechamel sauce. Don't worry if it looks lumpy to start with. Just keep working it. Keep working it. Keep working it. If you get so around the outsides, that's where that Maurice comes in handy. Just bring it back in. Again, back on the whisk. Starting to look really smooth again. You can smell the mustard. Back on the heat for a little bit. I'm happy with that now. I'm going to go all in with my milk. At the moment the bechamel looks a bit wet, but as it heats, that flour, that roux, just brings it out, thickens as it heats. And because this is such a small portion of bechamel sauce, it really doesn't take that long at all. Look, 2 minutes and we're done. I'm really happy with that. Nice, glossy bechamel sauce. Have a little taste, just make sure it hasn't got that floury texture. Here we are, guys. My water's up to a rapid boil, rolling boil. Just going to go in with the asparagus and Mangetout. Just cook those for about 3 minutes. Don't go crazy. While that's in there, my oil is really hot. So my asparagus and Mangetout now, it's been part cooked for about 3 minutes on a rapid boil. And my potatoes are starting to go a nice golden colour. Keep that high heat going. Just an extra pinch of salt. We've got lovely colours going on there. I'm quite happy with that. Cook the garlic, of course. Just give that a final drizzle of oil, and that's ready to serve. So my ratatouille has been in the oven now for about 45 minutes. We'll see the result as we speak. I'm going to turn the oven up to 180 degrees just to do the final gratin. Check that out, guys. Beautiful. I'm just going to take a small spoon and lightly drizzle my bechamel. In with the cheese. Sharp, mature, British cheddar cheese. Just going to finish that with a dusting of cracked black pepper. I'm going to put that back in the oven for 15 minutes. And there we have it, guys. Chef Aleutian's answer to a ratatouille. And here's a serving suggestion. Just simply scatter your new potatoes, asparagus and mangetout into a circle and spoon on your ratatouille. Don't forget the basil. And there you have it, guys. Ratatouille with bechamel and sharp cheddar cheese, complemented with sautéed new potatoes, asparagus and mangetout. Yes, chef.